troops pile up in Eastern Europe. Greece, Turkey, Albania, and Yugoslavia prepared to advance to the Rhine and into Italy. The Washington Pact must defend the front despite the Moscow-Tokyo Pact outnumbering them on the battlefield. Panic spreads across Europe, the Middle East, Thailand, and Americas as war is going to demolish them. America and allies start conscription and plans to outnumber the Soviets. But the war has already struck their allies. Time is fading away. Well, let's get into the video, so please subscribe. And the war has its outbreak. Which in the outbreak, we have to include Yugoslavia and these nations, right? You see, they're going to be important. And well, the outbreak happens, the Soviets and Japanese start their offensives, but we'll start with the European offensive first. Let's use a less harsh color for the alliance. But the Soviets will have a harsher color, and there's a reason for that. And now, you can see they both spread across the globe, with 3 fronts this fighting will happen on. But in the outbreak, we'll have to start where the outbreak begins, which will be in Eastern Europe. So let's get to it. And well, with the first offensive beginning, with Bulgaria being attacked. Romania is attacked by the Soviets. Along with Bulgaria, Germany gets attacked. And right now, Hungary gets invaded. And Poland and Slovakia, eventually this front connects. Collapsing this, collapsing Poland, collapsing German, Slovenia, and Croatia, attacking multiple areas, moving to here. And at this point, to no shock, Bulgaria begins to fall, just like the First and Second Balkan War and World War I in this series. Or in our life, every war. I feel bad for Bulgaria. But we need to go. The push to the Rhine is now in full effect across Europe. Meanwhile, Middle East and East Asia is awful for the Washington Pact. Well, let's go to Thailand. Everyone ready to see what happens to Thailand and its puppet in the American Philippines, which basically became American Indonesia? Well, you might want to close your eyes if you're a big Thailand fan, because it's not going to be nice. Aw, that's just sad. I guess they fail at the empires. You know what's weird? They were destroyed by the British, and now they're being destroyed by the Japanese. Everything's just bad. As they quickly dive into the Philippines, taking a nosedive in. And then they manage to take the island of Borneo. As they take advantage of taking Sumatra to move into Java, and then they just take the rest. And well, while America is kicked out of Asia, now the Middle East is falling. But with the panic, Australia and New Zealand get attacked in Dragonfire by Japan and decided to join, seeing Japan as the aggressor. Yeah, you might want to rethink this. With Japan seeing this, deciding to launch its own ideal. Because Japan is evil. We all know that. The Japanese Empire makes the British Empire look so kind and polite. Yeah. And then they land in Australia, quickly seizing a lot of land. But then the front stalls out. Let's go to the Middle East front to see what happens to the Arabs. I hope they have fun. With Kurdistan collapsing, which is an American puppet. Anyways, with Soviet Iran advancing into what would be Kuwait. And then this becomes the front. As they manage to quickly advance here, Turkey struggles to advance towards the Sinai Peninsula. But with this, the Pakistan puppet and India puppet and South India puppet all advance rapidly into the south. Quickly, the southern area falls. And with this, they move out from Qatar, pushing forwards, and they move over here and over here, quickly managing to connect the front, cutting off all access to these forces. Well, this is what it'll be like for now. So, well, let's go to Norway, see what happens to Norway. They're probably snoring through the war anyways. Let's just see. With Norway deciding to fall. Thanks a lot, Norway. And well, as Oslo is quickly seized, they also cut Norway in a few pieces. The southern part of Norway continues to fight for a little longer. But northern Norway, yeah, that's not a fortunate case. It's really unfortunate, if we say. With German and French forces and Americans getting kicked out of Norway, and they have to move into Germany as the fall of northern Denmark happens and Copenhagen. And in the east, they move until they get to German Pomerania. And then they move north of Berlin. And over here, they manage to start liberating Czechia and Austria as they manage to push in and seize Munich. And then they take Vienna and move here. And while the Italians get attacked, with Italy pushing them back significantly. And then in the northern front, they finally advance, with France holding on to what's left of Italy. And wow, Germany is now showing signs of collapse, as Soviets have 3 fronts on them. But as American troops arrive, everyone means let's break. America's flooding Europe, but the Soviets are closing on Berlin, Alps, Denmark. Is America too late? Before we finish, let's see Germany's max loss of lands and how far the Soviets get into Arabia. And well, let's start with the complete and utter fall of Denmark. The front eventually manages to connect to this one, thus shoving them deeper into Speer. And over here around Berlin, they don't manage to necessarily capture Berlin. No, they don't even close. They're over here. Berlin's over here. As these German troops stay, and around Berlin an encirclement is made. And another encirclement, but believing America is on their way, most of these encirclements stand. And on top around Hamburg, partisan activity liberates this. Around Vienna, this was liberated by partisans, and into Prague. As the advances stall out, America sets 4 million troops to Europe. And now they're at. And Soviets are at 13 million Soviet troops to 9 million American troops. Yeah, that's not good. And Allies troops. The Soviets are losing at a rate of 2 troops, lost to 1 replacement at a rate of 30,000 a month. So troops decrease 15,000 a month, but America and Allies are assumed to reach about 15 million troops in a bit. But let's focus on the front line in Arabia. How far did they get? They failed to get the Sinai Peninsula. And they might be saying, where else did they advance against Saudi Arabia? as this becomes Arabia's front. This isn't good. But can they succeed, or will Soviets completely advance through everything and the front will become victorious? Well, that's all. If you liked it, please like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts and theories. Stay in tune for next Monday when we continue this series, and Sunday when we return to Alternate Future of the World. Please click a video above. I'll see you there. Wild Mapper out. Bye, guys.